Hidden details of Nicole Curtis and Fixer Upper. We can get ideas and help for building our dream home from books, blogs, Pinterest boards, the internet, movies, and even TV shows. Luckily, there are a lot of TV stars who are happy to help their fans build the right home. Nicole Curtis, star of HGTV's Rehab Addict, is one of the most popular of these. What do you know about Nicole? Her shows have made her famous, and she's a real pro when it comes to remodeling. But how much do you know about her? Someone sells homes. But how did Nicole make a living doing something she loved? Well, Nicole got her real estate license in Minneapolis after she finished high school. The DIY network called her after a few years because they were looking for a blonde home improvement expert. Because blondes have more fun when they're remodeling. No matter what, the network directors liked her portfolio and asked her to come in for a test shot. Because she was so impressive in person and knew so much about her job, they offered her the show. Getting the money. Nicole Curtis didn't get her big break until she was in her late 30s, despite how successful she is now. It was hard for her to pay the bills before that, so she had many jobs and lived from paycheck to paycheck. She mostly worked as a waitress to make ends meet. After her shift at IHOP, she'd put on a new outfit and show off her skills as a waitress at Hooters. Although it wasn't her dream, she had to do it to make ends meet. As a child. Nicole Curtis was born in Detroit, but she moved around a lot as a child and lived in Georgia, Michigan, and Florida, among other places. Even though the Curtis family wasn't very wealthy, she became interested in decorating and fixing up old homes because of their lack of money. She said being poor makes you very creative, and because she couldn't buy nice things, she was always on the lookout for cheap furniture that she could fix up. Surprisingly, she's now turned this talent into a successful business. A new company. Nicole used to love fixing up houses and furniture, but she always secretly hoped that one day she'd become a lawyer. She'd planned to study law in college at first, but she changed her mind and now wants to teach. Nicole needed a job to pay for college while she was a student. Instead of working for someone else, she started her own cleaning business and became her boss. She dropped out of college in the end to focus on her new business. Her first house. Nicole Curtis was only 18 years old and still in college when she had to take care of herself. She had come a long way in the years. Making money by. Nicole's been crazy about buying old houses and making them look beautiful, again for as long as she can remember. She was able to find an old house in Minneapolis in 2012 and buy it for only $2. Nicole turned a rundown house into a beautiful home with the help of friendly neighbors, helpers, a $100,000 budget, and 76-hour work weeks. She then sold the house for a huge $146,000. Adding to her family. Nicole's been through a lot in her young life. When she gave birth to her first boy, Ethan, when she was only 20, her life changed forever. Nicole was thrilled to add to her family, but the birth of her son Ethan was not ideal because Ethan's father was a thief. Steve Cimini, his father, was charged with killing when he was only 2 months pregnant. He did many years in jail for this crime. People think that this fact and the stress of having a famous family put a lot of stress on Ethan's childhood. Getting paid to fight. Nicole worked hard to take care of her son Ethan. Even though she's now 20 years old, Nicole is still making sure he gets all the help he needs. Ever since Ethan's father, Steve Cimini, got out of prison, Nicole's been on a mission to get all the child support payments she never got from him. Cimini was told to pay $14,685.54 in back child support in January of 2018. He didn't show up, which is too bad because he now faces even more jail time. Covering up a new feature. Nicole was not put off by the thought of having another child, even though she had problems with her first one. However, it made her wary of keeping her private life private. In 2015, she found out she was pregnant again, but she chose not to tell the press. In 2016, she told the News Observer that she wanted something to my own. When she was shooting, she would ask the crew to move the camera away from her stomach and even use props to hide her baby bump. Getting Harper in. Harper was Nicole Curtis's second boy. He was born in 2015. Nicole, on the other hand, had trouble with her child's father again. This time it was Shane McGuire, her ex-boyfriend. The couple that used to be together wasn't together when Harper was born, which led to a very heated custody fight between the parents, to the point where Shane sued the reality TV star for renovations. He said Nicole was keeping his child away from him. Nicole's answer was pretty interesting, and it's caused a stir in the media. Not letting him in. During their court case, Shane McGuire's lawyer said Nicole kept Harper away from him on purpose, saying it was a trick to help her case. In exchange, Nicole's lawyer said that Nicole had to keep Harper, who's 2 years old, with her at times because she was still breastfeeding him. Many moms still breastfeed their kids at this age, but a lot of fans have wondered if that was a good reason to keep the kid with her and keep the dad from spending time with him. Not an ideal life. Nicole is the first person to say that her life isn't great because of these problems. She's had a hard time as a single mom for decades, and now both of her sons' dads don't like her. Nicole did get married to Steve Lane, but they broke up in 2009, and she hasn't been with anyone since. Nicole told People magazine in April 2017 that she wanted to get married again and that she would give anything to have a husband that loved me and supported me. Getting fit. Nicole's been stressed out because of court cases and custody fights for the past few months, which has led to anxiety and panic attacks. She has, however, found a way to fight her problems and get better during this time. Nicole makes sure that she gets away from her life and spends time in nature when she has free time. Her favorite ways to stay fit are to run, hike, swim, ride her bike, and more. You can see a lot of pictures of these things on her social media feed. Not keeping her word. Nicole's run-ins with her ex-boyfriends aren't the only stories on the front page of the newspaper, though. Nicole got in trouble in 2012 when she bought a Minneapolis house for $2 with plans to fix it up, make changes, and decorate it. The neighbors were excited to see the house in a new light after seeing how ugly it was from the street. This was especially true since Nicole had decided to finish the renovations in just under a year. But in the end, the neighbors found out that this wasn't going to happen. Getting legal help. Nicole had decided to fix up the Minneapolis house, but the damage kept getting worse over time. The neighbors started to worry more and more after a while. Nicole had broken her word to them, and they were mad about it. They were also worried about the building's health and safety risks. They finally took the rehab addict to court, where the case was settled with the help of the city council. Curtis had to pay a fine and a fee for the building and had to finish the work in 5 months. Not about saving energy. Nicole Curtis has been thought of as a disliked neighbor before, which is a shame. It's become more and more clear to her through her work that she doesn't care about saving energy or using green energy sources in her repair projects. She says that this is because the homes she works with are older and plastic windows and doors wouldn't look good on them. She thinks that the old features are what made these old houses stand out. Someone who loves dogs. Nicole isn't always the bad guy, though. She has 237,000 Instagram fans and is a very famous TV star. Fans love to keep up with this rehab addict because she posts information on her 2 famous dogs all the time. Nicole's always been crazy about old dogs, just like she's crazy about old homes. She even brings her 2 dogs, Lucy and Max, with her to all of her TV shows. Love for clothes. Nicole's fans can also quickly see other parts of her life through her Instagram feed. Nicole's love for fashion is one of the things that makes her stand out. Nicole has a huge closet full of trendy clothes, but she also loves old things. In an interview with Pop Sugar Home, Nicole talked about how one of her favorite things is an Oscar de la Renta dress from the 1970s that she found in a local store and fixed up. Giving something away. Nicole Curtis is known for many things, including her TV show, her DIY skills, and her rather rough personal life. She's also known for her beautiful hair. Nicole's blonde hair falls just below her waist, making many women want to look like her. This TV star will now likely give her long hair to a better cause, though. Nicole is likely to give her hair to a group that makes hats for cancer patients. She hopes that the years she spends growing her hair will help other people have years of happy memories. A big net worth. Nicole's large net worth hasn't been affected because she's had to pay a lot for lawyers and court costs. She's been on 8 seasons of Rehab Addict and is now building a business as a home repair expert. So it's no wonder that she's worth a huge $5 million. We should see more of her on TV and movies in the next few years, we hope. What will we do without our fix of Rehab Addict after all? An important part. Nicole is an important part of the show in more ways than one. Even though she's best known as the beautiful host of Rehab Addict, she not only does the voice and face of the show, but she also runs it and does study. Indeed, Nicole is in charge of every project's logistics and planning, and it's even her job to find and pick the houses that'll be fixed up. From her point of view, the success of Rehab Addict is all her fault, and we have to agree. Some mistakes. It's easy to think that Nicole Curtis is an expert in design when you watch her on Rehab Addicts. No matter how the property is destroyed or rebuilt, Nicole makes sure that every part of the house is finished perfectly. At least that's what the cameras show. This TV host is very open about the mistakes she makes in her job. For example, she's admitted to flooding rooms and almost starting a house fire while she was on set. Since then, she said that's what's fun about the whole thing. A new year. Fans of the show Rehab Addict will remember how long it took to get to season 8. But Nicole and her tools were back on our screens after a year break. Season 8 began in October 2017 and ended very quickly in November of that same year. The 8th season almost didn't happen though, because Nicole's court case with her ex-boyfriend was about to get in the way of her work. While everything went as planned, we still don't know if there'll be a 9th season. Nicole is the author. Nicole is also an artist, which you might or might not know. She's even written 2 books so far. The first was called Better Than New, Lessons I've Learned from Saving Old Homes and How They Saved Me, and came out in 2016. And the second was called Settling the Dust, Lessons Learned from the 2015 Esperance Fires, and came out in 2017. She writes books about everything she knows about remodeling homes, which is clear from the names of the books. Expert at what she does. Happy to hear that Nicole is writing a book to share what she knows with the world. Her show does talk about a lot of different ways to fix up your house, but if you can write a whole book about it, you should. You're a pro at your job if you have a lot to say about a certain subject. People need to hear what you have to say outside of the show as well. Order to restrain. Nicole was in a custody fight with her ex-boyfriend, Shane McGuire, over their son, Harper, which we talked about before. But what you might not know is that she was also going through a completely different family problem at the same time, like growing apart from her mother, Joan. Their relationship was so bad that it turned into open hatred. Joan's response was to get her daughter Nicole restricted from seeing her boyfriend. Not needed? So what does this mean though? Were things between them so bad that they couldn't have been fixed anyway? Since Joan is Nicole's mother, their relationship could have been fixed in some way, no matter how bad it got. Why don't they just go their separate ways and mind their own business if they aren't able to fix it? Do you need a protection order? Upset. However, Joan said that the protection order was very important, and she had good reasons for saying that. According to the Detroit News, Joan did what she did because she thought her daughter Nicole hated it. She had more than one reason, though. According to court documents, Nicole was giving her mother a lot of stress, and she would often scream at her. Play in a hospital. Joan says that her daughter Nicole was not only rude and mean to her, but also made threats. Nicole is Joan's grandmother, and Joan says that Nicole made threats against her while Mother was dying in a Florida hospital. Joan even told a judge that Nicole had been calling her and being rude and threatening, and that Nicole had also been sending her mean emails. Charges dropped. Joan thought her daughter Nicole was a control freak and mean and nasty because of all the chaos that was going on during that time. She also said Nicole has told her over and over that Nicole hates her and that she's never been a good mother to Nicole. It must be hard for a mom to hear this. Joan was tired of it, which is why she got the protection order. The judge, though, didn't think there was enough proof, so the charges were dropped. Pay up now. Along with all this trouble with her mother, she was about to get into some trouble with her ex-husband, Shane McGuire, over the custody fight they were having. You may already know some of the story, but did you know that Nicole almost went to jail for it? She was told by a judge in the summer of 2016 that she would have to pay for the costs that came up because she missed parenting time and legal fees. Possible time in jail. The judge already let Shane see Harper, his son, with Nicole every other weekend, but Nicole wouldn't let him have this basic right. The judge didn't like that they kept going back to court for this. He told Nicole that she was in contempt of court and might have to go to jail if she didn't change her ways. He was tired of everyone coming back to court for the same reason. Meeting for printing books. Nicole didn't want her husband to see her son, but she had another reason. She told them that she'd brought Harper with her to New York City so that she could go to a meeting and promote her book even more. She said that she could have lost as much as $500,000 if she hadn't taken this trip. But the judge was smart, and what he said was very interesting. Last word of warning. However, the judge said that what she was doing might have been best for her and her book, but not always for her baby son. Afterward, he told Nicole that she had to pay her husband what she owed, and he made it official that she could not bring her to any more job sites. Shane's lawyer said that they don't want Nicole to go to jail, but they do want Shane to be able to see their son. Very sad loss. Nicole had to deal with another surprise when a close friend or family member died in the summer of 2017. Tessa Prothero, Bobby Prothero's 9-year-old daughter and a builder on Rehab Addict, had been sick with cancer for 4 years before she died. Tessa was also known as Nicole's friend, so it was only normal that she was very sad about her death. Also, it wasn't even close to the death of Tessa's parents, Bobby and Karen. Raising money. Nicole and Tessa hit it off right away when they met on the set of Rehab Addict. Nicole held cancer events in honor of Tessa long before she died because they were such good friends. Also, Nicole wasn't the only famous person who talked to Tessa. Karen Prothero's friend, Kristen Bell, set up a surprise visit for Tessa from Josh Gad, who played Olaf in the hit Disney cartoon movie Frozen. Giving schools help. Nicole has given back to the community in many ways, such as helping to raise money for cancer in the name of her little friend Tessa, and by contributing to school improvements. After Nicole showed up at Winslow Township Middle School in New Jersey and told everyone that they'd be getting a new outdoor garden, everyone was very excited. But this garden would be different. It would be an outdoor classroom. The Picked School. But even though this project seems great at first glance, it wasn't that easy to get started, and the story behind it is very interesting. The whole thing began when Ross Cruz, a teacher at the school, put his name in a national contest for community projects that wanted to build something new as a team. As you probably guessed, their school won and got the authentic Nicole treatment and $15,000. Warm and cool. Nicole's kind side has been talked about, like how she helps others and starts fundraising projects for cancer patients. We've talked about how talented she is on TV and how she takes on projects with a unique enthusiasm and follows through with passion. However, we've also talked about the worst parts of her life, which makes us ask the question, do you know who Nicole Curtis is? Is Nicole the real one? It's never easy to answer these kind of questions, whether the person in question has a public image or not. There's so many aspects of what makes us human that it can be hard to sum up a person in a paragraph, let alone in a line. We can try though, because our deeds can say a lot about us. They might not tell us everything, but they can give us hints that can help us figure things out. Nicole started small as a waitress at Hooters. We've also talked about the bad relationships she had with many people she cared about, like her mother and all her ex-boyfriends. We've already talked about how the bad feelings from these relationships made her fight for control of her son, which made her make bad choices that could land her in jail. We also know that her mother put in a protection order against her. Who is Nicole, though? 2 lives at once. Through all these stories, we learn that Nicole is not at all what she seems to be on TV. This may be the case most of the time with stars, since you need to keep things interesting for the masses to keep them interested. To do that, you might have to fake a smile or try to be true to what you think people want. For Nicole, the difference between her real life and her life on screen is very big. In her shoes. That being said, no one is that good at pretending to be someone else. Her show does so well because she's real. That's the most important part of the story. If you're not perfect, that doesn't mean the beautiful parts of you don't exist. Being flawed makes you more personable. We're all flawed, and we shouldn't judge someone until we've been in their shoes for a while.